Hello there everybody and welcome to the stream. It's a new style of stream today. We're going to be reading news articles all about all the crap and good stuff that goes on within the drone community internationally, not just UK and US. We will try and focus on them a bit. Today I've got my special guest, Mark from Centroid Aerial Images. Do you want to say hello, mate?
Yes. Hey, how are you all, folks? Sorry about that. I'm a little out of practice myself. I've not been live streaming for a while, so hopefully I'll get back into the swing of things. Thanks for having me on, Steve.
Oh.
And if I may, I don't take this personally. You got my channel name wrong. I have changed since you've been gone.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's like, well, make sure you check him out. I will set that right after the stream, okay? Yeah,
It's
it's
all good. It's all
yeah,
good. I'm just messing with you.
yeah. This new stream format we're doing is what we like to call the Transatlantic Drone Alliance. It's been an idea me and Mark have been messing about with for a little bit, and we finally got round to doing it. If I look a bit shiny today, the weather in the UK is absolutely balmy, and it's really hot and humid. And a few people in the chat are already saying things about it. Yeah, it's bad. I've got a damp hat on, a nice cool damp hat, and a towel at the nearby just to dry my face as we go along. I know it looks a bit ridiculous, but that's what I'm dealing with at the minute. Um, so, Mark, you've got a few nice stories lined up for us this week, haven't you? Some drone news
I got
stories.
a couple things I've been digging and picking through. Sure, sure.
Oh, good. And I have a few excellent ones myself, that's it. Trying to avoid the Illuminati hand signals there. I didn't realise I was doing them. The tinfoil hat streams for now are no more. I may at some point revisit it just for a one-off special, but at the minute, this is my new style of stream every Wednesday, and we are going to be alternating between my channel and Mark's channel. So get in the description if you aren't subscribed to him already. Get sub to him, and next Wednesday, same time, we'll be doing this stream on his channel, so he can put his own flavour on it, and he will be the host. He'll introduce everything and all that lot. Because yeah, I know what people say. I talk a lot and basically just sandbag anybody most of the time. So I'm going to try and be a little bit more gracious of a host today, Mark. Does that sound like a good plan?
Good luck.
Good luck. You're going to need it if you want to get a word in edgeways, mate. Trust me.
Oh, I know,
Uh,
I know. It's a fight uphill, no doubt.
Yeah, yeah. So my chat, I've now got a two monitor setup, the two big screens, and for some reason I've put my chat all the way over there. It's like on the other side of the room. I'm not kidding. So I'm just going to have a quick look at this just to say hello to everybody who's in, because I haven't actually vocally said hello to everybody yet. Lauren Amy, I hope you're well. That's my lovely partner. She's in the chat tonight. Centroid's in the chat. Make sure you check him out. It's another way to get to his channel there. Talia Pratton, my little sister, I hope you're doing well. Princess Peach, nice to see you. Flat Earth Forums, I met him the other day on Roger's stream at Canadian Drone Hub, and got chatting to him on there. I hope you're doing well. Who else we got in here? Jeanette Pickering, I hope you're well. It was good seeing you the other week, it really was. Gimmicks is in, Lucas, nice to see you, buddy. Toby Cobbledick, nice to see you, buddy. I hope you're well. Craggs is in the house. How's your night been down the club, mate? All good. Yes, that's my hellos done. Nice quick roundup there. I hope everybody's well. I'm trying to keep it brief, keep it on point. The general idea today is get drone news out to you. What we think is the most interesting or shocking stories. We're going to deliver them to you and basically give our commentary as we go along. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'll open things up then if you're happy to do it that way, Mark.
Your channel, your style, man. You do your
Okay,
thing.
so this transition should work real nice. So.
Yep. Uh, Steve, I don't mean to interrupt, but Chad is saying we've lost sound somehow. They said there's no sound. Sorry about that, but I just caught that onto that.
1 second. 1 sec.
Oh, oh, I have sound.
Yes,
You
yes,
don't.
yes. There we go. That should be working again. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. I've not been using OBS too much lately. That's all good.
It's. I know the
Yes.
feeling.
That link I put in the chat, please just pop on there. This is the Parliament webpage. I did just try and do like a desktop audio audio play of the audio. Can't seem to get that to work, unfortunately, but please check the article and just honestly check his smug face as he comes out with that comment. If you want to have a pop there real quick now, Mark, and have a look, because it is literally just mind-blowing.
Oh, I remember. I remember seeing this before. I think you had me take a look at it
Yes,
before. So
indeed.
yeah, yeah. Oh, he is definitely
Oh,
smug,
he
no
is very
doubt.
smug. Yeah, and since then, he has actually been made to publicly apologise as well. So, not that really matters. It's more of a, oh crap, we screwed up. We'd best get him out in the public eye and give it the usual spiel covering his own bum. So that's all good. Yeah, this
Hmm.
is a story, like I say, from a few weeks ago, but it has been really irritating me. This is the article, the Register, just their own piece, basically. I'm going to put this in the chat as well for anybody who wants to check this out. I'm going to be reading the article. So drone flyers are either clueless, careless, or criminal, says air traffic controller. Is only in charge of fitting them into UK airspace. So British drone flyers are either clueless, careless or criminal, according to none other than NAT's head of unmanned traffic management. Andy Sage made the bold statement to Parliament yesterday, but this article's a few weeks ago now. While giving evidence to the Science and Technology Committee of MPs, he was supposed to have been talking about the risk posed by drones to people, while discussing ways and means of making drone flyers aware of rules, regulations and the need for permission to fly legally near airports and certain other places. Sage said NATS feels very strongly that a consistent means needs to be presented to the public. We regard drone users in kind of three categories. And honestly, I really don't like the look of his face to begin with, to be honest. Yeah, so that's it. There is more to that article. And essentially, I don't think the public perception of drones is ever going to get any better when you've got the guy from, NATS in front of like a governing body coming out with crap like that. Honestly, what's your thoughts on
Yeah.
it so far, mate?
Oh, it's. I mean, we have a bad reputation to begin with, and it's totally unfounded. I mean, there's really no significant amount of documented evidence suggested that most of us who fly drones are careless, criminal, or clueless. It's
It's
like
completely unfounded.
whatever.
There,
It
there
is.
is 1%, I'd say, of drone flyers who deliberately go out to cause mischief with it. If that,
Hmm.
right? The rest of the time, everyone's
Yeah.
following the rules, they're flying safe, they're flying responsible, and they are clued up on the rules, right? So it's just people read the newspapers, don't they? There's headline articles all the time. And this is what we spoke about when we first conceptualized this stream, wasn't it, mate? It was that it's only the negative stories that actually get the headlines or even space in the newspapers. As soon as you've got the positive stories, they'll be on page 10, page 15, a little write up this big. Suspected drone
Hmm.
near an airport, no proof. That'll be
No.
worldwide headline news for days. For days and days.
Hmm.
Still no proof as well. But I mean, we've got time to go into that later. I do have another little article about Gatwick because Gatwick is literally the crux, I think, of negative
Hmm.
opinion in the UK on drones. And it's something that I constantly try and dispel to anybody. I mean, you only have to mention to somebody in the UK that you fly drones and they go, oh yeah, been to Gatwick recently. And you go, oh my
Hmm.
goodness, you're not even funny. The amount of times and the duration of time I've spent explaining every little bit of why it just doesn't add up that there was ever drones there at all. You know, yeah, thoughts so far,
Mhm.
Mark. Do you want to chip in with anything there, mate?
No, actually, if at some point when you're ready, I mean, this actually is a nice segue into one of the stories I picked for
Okay.
today. It kind of so, but I mean, if you're done, you're done. But I mean, I've said enough. That guy is a complete. Well, I'll keep my language to a minimum. Uh,
Yes.
it just drives me nuts when we get bad reputations for
Yeah.
nothing. He has no. I want to know: has he ever flown a drone? Has he been near somebody flying a drone, or does he just subscribe to all the crap that everybody else is out there, upset about, and or for no reason upset? Where's he getting his source from? It doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense.
exactly, mate. Exactly. So, to make this transition nice and seamless, mate, do you want to do a screen share with me on Skype? Um,
I
just
sure
just to
will.
make
I'm
sure
ready
that
to go.
that's working. Just let me know when you're done, and I'll
Okay.
transition you over, mate.
I'm screen. And I'm going to post the link for anybody who cares to go and look at this article too. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Thank you. Thank you. Steve, you when you transitioned, you need to set up your output again. I think they're saying they can't hear you. Yeah. Well, they wouldn't have heard you anyway. So, hey,
This
Steve, when
this
I
could
got
not go much worse, could it?
no, this is a good break-in. You're doing fine because
Hello.
when I there you go.
I'm
When I
back. I'm
start,
sorry. I'm messing this all up.
no, you're doing fine. When I
Yeah.
started streaming again after my hiatus, I was all over the place. I did exactly the same thing. It's such a if you haven't used it for a while, you lose it. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for letting me know. Hopefully, that will not happen again. I'm starting to irritate myself just how I've overlooked these tiny issues of just basically putting a microphone capture into OBS. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, man. I'm full of energy tonight. I'm a bit hungover. The temperature in here, I'm absolutely melting, but I've got my cool flannel on my head and my towel nearby. I am roasting, but I'm not postponing it. This has been in the planning for too long. We need to do this. So,
Mhm.
I was just saying hello to a few people in the chat there. Paul Michael, PMDB, I hope you're well, mate. Great to see you. And like I said, on the last stream I said I was going to be streaming more, so that's all good. That's cool. Yep, got it all sorted. I can see the audio levels now are all good my end. So
Yeah.
let me know if there's any more issues, please, because I'd rather you say than not say. So
Dude, it's all fine. We didn't miss anything. We're doing good. I think so. So,
good. Um,
trust me, if you did what I did when I first started back, you'd want to shut down. So you're doing great. Great. You thought I'd never used OBS in my life when I went back to live streaming.
Yeah, it's all good, mate. So you have a story for us, which, like you say, should transition
Well,
nicely
yeah.
from
Well,
kind of nice from the last thing. So,
Well, I wouldn't say it's nice, but it goes along with how people don't like drones or they're misrepresented. At least there's some silver lining at the end of this dark cloud. It had happened in Long Island down here in New York, and apparently a guy had seen a drone flying overhead and decided to shoot it out of the sky with a shotgun. Now, what he didn't realize, or maybe he did, was if you read the article, watch it. I posted the link earlier in the chat. Is that there's an organization down in Long Island that uses drones actually to help locate missing pets. Some of the drones, sometimes they'll have heat seek, they have the flare cameras on them for being able to read heat, especially at night. And he decided to take out this drone, which I don't know what it's like in the right, I don't know the laws in England, but here in the states, it's actually a federal offense to shoot an aircraft out of the sky, whether it's a 747 or a drone, and this guy decided to knock this thing out of the sky. Now, since then, he had been arrested, and the charges were criminal mischief, illegal use of a gun. But I think he's getting off pretty lightly because the federal government, the FAA, could come all down on him like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, man.
But this is what I mean is that people have this idea that all drones are for people to spy. This was a totally harmless and legal use of a drone that was helping out a family that had lost their pet, and this guy just thought it was okay for him to go out in his backyard and shoot it down with a gun. You know, it is ridiculous. They actually confiscated all the weapons that were in his house, rightfully so. I guess he had multiple shotguns in his house, and again, he's been arrested, and hopefully they make they got to see drones have a lot of good uses.
Yes.
Yeah, and it just drives me nuts where everybody thinks that it's just for creepy people who want to spy on other people. And I've yet to find a drone user that I know that's what they do use a drone for. Not that they would admit it, but come on.
Yeah. No, I've never met anybody who's openly said, "Oh, I use it to spy on my neighbours."
Right.
Never once.
Right.
You know?
Although I've been approached for a job once. Apparently, to go along with that, people who don't fly drones suspect that people do this. So I was approached by a gentleman who was concerned that his neighbor was doing stuff illegally to, how shall I say, increase his footprint of his property and take over more and more land. So he's trying to hire me to take aerial footage of what he was doing in his backyard.
Yeah.
I told him to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I guess they just assume we're okay doing that. No, that's illegal. We don't do that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man. Well, that's the thing. That's the misconception, isn't it? You know what I mean? I need someone spying on. I need to enlist the help of a local drone pilot. You know what I mean? Seems to be like it's the done thing. You know.
Yeah, and come to find out, the drone that was shot out of the sky was a Mavic 2 Zoom. It's one of the ones that I fly, and those things are not cheap. I wish the article did say whether or not that the drone was replaced by the person who shot it down, but maybe that's something that will come out in the courts, and they'll have to pay restitution. I would hope so, because they're not cheap.
Yeah, man. Did you want to read any snippets from the article and maybe post it in the chat as well?
Sure. Like I said, I posted the links, and it says, let's see here. Let's get it started here. St. James. Suffolk police say a man is facing charges for shooting a drone out of the sky with a shotgun Saturday. Now, this happened a couple of months ago. They say members of Missing Angels Long Island, a group that seeks missing pets, were using a Mavic 2 Zoom drone to look for a lost dog. The drone became unresponsive shortly before 5 p.m. The group used the drone's GPS to determine that it was last above a home on Rutherford Street in St. James. Police say an investigation determined that the resident of the home, 26-year-old, I'm not going to read the name, just you can read it if you want. I don't like calling people out like that, had fired 3 shotgun shots into the air from his yard, taking out the drone. Suffolk police say multiple shotguns were confiscated from the home. He's being charged with criminal mischief and prohibited use of a weapon. He was issued a field appearance ticket. Now, not so sure what a field appearance ticket is, but obviously he's being called into court, and he's yet to be fully charged. And like I said, if he's going to get any sort of penalty, hopefully part of that will be restitution. But it's just a small article, and again, it just drives me nuts that it just kind of propagates and promotes this idea that drones are being used for illegal and mischievous things. And he felt he had the right to shoot a drone. Now, here in the United States, I believe, at least in New York, you can fly over a person's property, but you have to fly over it. It has to be, I believe, at least 150 to 200 feet off the ground, and you cannot stay over the property and focus on it for any inordinate amount of time. Otherwise, then it's seen as spying. And even with a Mavic 2 Zoom at 200 feet, I can't look down and read your license plate. It's not that good. So if you think that, people can see things from 200 feet in the air that you might not want them to see, it's totally not true. So.
Yeah, man, the cameras on them aren't that good.
No.
They're good for nice wide landscape shots and everything, but you do have to get right close to something to actually, see someone's face or any sort of fine details like a number plate or what somebody's actually doing, basically.
Oh, yeah.
You'd have to be right close to them, close enough for them to hear it, because these things are loud when they're hovering about. The bigger ones, anyway. You know what I mean? So, Right, mate. Do you have anything more to add on that story?
No.
One quick thing. I do think that if you actually shoot a drone down in certain countries or territories, I think it does actually fall under air piracy. So I'd be very careful. And I've actually met somebody before who said if they see a drone flying round their property, they will get a BB gun out and shoot it, basically like an air rifle. Yeah. And I politely informed him that if he does that, he's going to be in big trouble. You know what I mean? Because if it's open ground where his property is, just open ground, so you're legally allowed to fly over it to get somewhere else or whatever. You know what I mean? As long as you're not spying or doing anything nefarious. I said to him, if you shoot one down, mate, honestly, you're going to literally go to court about it. You are, because it's damage of property, mate. At very least.
It's similar to the laws that we have here in the States as far as water. If you own property on water, you don't own the water. So if I have a boat, I can be right on your property line as long as I'm in the water. You can't say squat.
Yeah, man.
And so the FAA owns the air, not you. So it's not like you have this column of air that nobody can come over.
Man. That reaches right out into space.
It's like this is my air, you can't cross it. It's like all of a sudden we've got no fly zones because of somebody's pool. It's like
in the UK, the airspace above your property is 50 meters from the highest point of your property. So the highest point from the tip of a building or a structure, 50 meters above that, you're in public airspace. So as long as it's not a built-up area or anything like that, if it's open ground, not a congested area, and you're not causing any safety or concerns or distress or anything, you're completely legal to fly over there. You know?
And 50 meters does translate into loosely about 200 feet, I think. Roughly.
It's just over 150 foot.
Yeah. So the law is very similar to ours. So you can't say squat if somebody's 150 feet off the property, even if it is directly above.
Yes. So please let me know in the chat how the stream is looking for tonight. I hope it's all looking very well. We've ironed out the technical difficulties now. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. I do have one dislike on my stream. Thank you for that. I'm always happy to have viewer engagement, as it were. You know what I mean? Thank you.
Well, you can thank me for that one, Steve.
Yeah. Oh, I will do. Don't worry. Punishments will occur. Yeah, that's all good. So, next up we have an article. This is going to take some reading. I'm going to switch over to it now, to me hosting. This is my article that I've got here. I'm just going to copy that and put it into the chat. Let me just get over there. Yeah, thanks, Lucas. You've put in some nice comments there in the chat. Thank you. It is a great community we got here. I hope everybody's enjoying the stream. That's cool. So, this one's fairly recent. There was a Panorama documentary about the Gatwick drone attack, even though they openly say throughout the documentary there's a likelihood that it wasn't drones, but they're still happy to call it the Gatwick drone attack. That's the article. I've posted the link. I'm just going to read some of this out. So it says, the drone attack that brought Gatwick Airport to a standstill last December could have been an inside job, according to police, who said the perpetrator may have been operating the drone from within the airport. Like I say, no evidence of drones. But for anybody who knows, I've covered the Gatwick thing quite extensively. The article's there for you to read. And obviously the BBC with the usual reporting. It's always doom and gloom with the BBC when it comes to drones. They're very unapologetic, and this does tie into the next step of this. DJI themselves actually lodged a complaint with the BBC about that documentary itself as well, just for how they misrepresented drones. And also there was a BBC Horizon documentary called Britain's Next Air Disaster, which completely overplayed the danger to aeroplanes by drones. Now, for anybody who's wondering, don't take this next thing out of context, because there's not much detail surrounding this, but there is footage of a jumbo jet cockpit accelerated at a drone just to see what had happened. And this is the clip right here. That doesn't look like it'd actually do much to me. Yeah, it looks like it's made out of ice. Can you see that, Mark?
I don't have the live stream. It's going to be a little
Oh
bit of
yeah,
a
that's
lag
fine.
when
Yeah,
it
yeah.
pops up.
Just so you can stay on the
So,
same page, mate. Yeah,
yep,
that
yep.
should be coming through on OBS. If you can see that, all right.
There it is. Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
not
yep.
many people have seen this clip. There's not much information around it, but that looks fairly conclusive that it's not going to do much to an aeroplane cockpit windscreen. No,
Yep.
not at all. So
Now we had a similar and the DJI went after him because they used phantomish drone like that, and they shot it at the leading edge of a wing and were able to penetrate the leading edge of the wind with
yes,
it, with of the wing with it. But the likelihood of that happening, and they said that the speed at which they were projecting the drone, there was a lot of inconsistencies, and since then, I don't know if they've retracted it, but you don't see that clip anymore, and they don't make that argument. I mean, to be fair, you know how they test at least windshields on at least they do that in the States. You know what they do use to test impact
frozen
resistance of
chickens.
windscreens of planes.
Yeah,
Yes, they do.
yeah,
Frozen
with a
chickens.
chicken cannon. Yeah, it is literally a chicken cannon, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So,
Yeah, man.
yeah, no, I mean, keep trying, but that ain't gonna, yeah, there's no, as far as I'm concerned, there's no recreational commercial, just recreational drone out there that can penetrate the windscreen of a plane like that. Not
No.
yet, at least. They're too small. They're
Yeah,
too
yeah.
light.
And not packed in densely enough. Do you know what I mean? It's
No,
mostly it's
no.
plastic shell. You know.
Yeah,
Um,
and it'll explode like that before it
but
gives
you
any
can tell that's
resistance.
moving in very slow motion. So I'd be very. I've read this entire article and I'd like to know just what speed that cockpit was travelling. It's not going to be
Right,
anywhere near actual flight speeds of a commercial aeroplane, obviously, but it looks like it's
right.
going at least 100 mile an hour, at least.
I'm serious. Even if it's not frozen, let's face it, a Canada goose hitting a windscreen is more likely to do damage than a plastic
Yeah.
Phantom. And I don't see them making Canada geese illegal anytime
Yeah,
soon.
just ban all frozen chickens. Yeah. Okay, in the chat, Brant Ariels says, "TADA, love it. Yeah, that's the Transatlantic Drone Alliance. That is now Centroid and myself. That's the new title of these streams, basically. The Transatlantic Drone Alliance reads the news. It's a little bit weirdy, but I don't really care. You know?
I'm sure you'll get all kinds of marketing people having a problem with that,
Yeah,
but
it's all good.
hell, it
Yeah,
is what it is.
Gimmicks, nice to see you, mate. Thank you for dropping in. And I'll see you again soon. I'll message you on Facebook soon, mate. It'd be good for us to have a catch-up. It's been a while. That's all good. So, Mark, do you have another story for us? Let's line them up, knock them down.
Yeah, yes, actually, I do. In fact, they were talking about the use of drones for things. Somebody was talking about delivering mail. Well, lately everybody's been talking about Amazon getting into the drone delivery business, which I think, at the level they want to do it is a bit unrealistic. But here's something that has become somewhat realistic. I'll pop the link in the chat. Make sure I have it copied properly here. And this is relatively recent. If you're familiar with UPS, which is the United Parcel Service, do you have UPS in your area?
Yeah,
Does that sound
it's
familiar?
quite low key though. You don't see it very
Yeah.
often.
Right. Well, they're international. It's been big in the States. I mean, it's a lot of deliveries. They were a big competitor of the U.S. Postal Service for a while, but U.S. Postal Service is picking up a bit. But basically, the article says that, I'll read a bit of it if you care to listen. UPS, the world's single largest package delivery specialist, has announced the launch of a drone delivery subsidiary, UPS Flight Forward. The company has also confirmed a filing for Part 135 certification with the FAA. Of course, this is in the States, with a view to scaling its drone operations in targeted markets. If granted by the FAA, the certification would be the foundation for FAA-approved flights beyond line of sight at night and with an unlimited number of drones and operators in command. to put it plainly, and this is the partnership. There's a link there that goes to a company that they talk about, Martinet. Basically, this is a little bit more specific and specialized than what Amazon was going after. This is more realistic because it actually serves a very vital service, I think, because they're talking about delivering medical supplies for to hospitals, which will be more of a direct line, more realistic for landing sites for these drones. Because again, Amazon, I don't know how they plan on delivering packages to apartments, let's say, but if you have, if you have hospitals, then most of them have heliports, and of course you got to worry about that as well. But they're talking about using a company and being able to deliver medical supplies and samples as needed. Now, I think, and I don't, I wish I could find it, and it just dawned on me. I should have looked for it, and maybe next week I'll report on it. I believe there was a reported delivery of a transplant
Yes.
needed, and talk about getting from one place to another quickly without having to worry about flight plans and taxiing or anything like that. If you need to deliver something quickly, why wouldn't you consider a drone if it's legal and you can get something that is vital to saving somebody's life? So again, here, this is a wonderful concept, and UPS, I think, has picked a fairly, how should I say, realistic use for drones,
Yeah.
unlike Amazon. Again, that's just personal opinion, but this is definitely doable, and I wish them well. I hope it works out for them.
Yeah, on a limited basis for emergencies
Hmm.
only and whatnot. Yep, that's well within. And I do remember an article where a an organ was sent via drone to some hospital somewhere in the States, wasn't it, and successfully
Believe
transplanted.
so. Yes, I believe so. But again, it just hit me as I'm reading this. I'm like, wait a minute, there was something even better than this.
Yeah, yeah.
But hopefully, we'll see that more and more as we progress through this. You know, I'm not going to say that drones are the wave of the future, but they are going to be part of our future and a big part of it nonetheless. And
Mm,
if it's going to be like this, then more power to them.
yes. Excellent stuff. So we've got positive positive drone news. What the hell? You're not going to see this anywhere else. Positive drone news, man.
Yes, yeah,
Honestly.
no. And I'm sorry, I got to butt in and take a comment that Brent Ariel just said. He goes, I'm assuming he's referring to our channel. He goes, it's like NATO for drones.
Yeah, yeah. And we've signed the treaty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ta-da!
Ta-da! Yeah, yeah. I think it's a good name. It came to me in a vision. You know what I
Yes.
mean? That's all good. And when I run it past Mark, we said it'd be a really good idea. So, let us know in the comments. If you like the ta-da. You know, or yeah, that's all good. So, are we ready now to transition into the next story because we've got some UK airport drone issues again. It's not Gatwick this time. I'm going to transition over to mine right here. And on the 12th of July, there was drone sightings at Leeds Bradford Airport. Lovely stuff, just exactly how we like it. An emergency was declared at the popular Yorkshire Airport, where flights have either been suspended or diverted to Humberside and Manchester. Other flights have been placed on hold. The incident was reported 20 minutes ago, but obviously this is July the 12th. Obviously, with us doing this stream for the first time tonight, we are sort of having to go back through the news a little bit just to catch up and give context to some of the things we're saying. So three Jet 2 flights were affected by the incident. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, social media's users flocked online. One said evacuated from the terminal. There we go, look. Here we go. It remains unknown how many drones were at the airport. Yeah, so they don't know if there's one. Right. That's the only thing you need to know. They don't know whether there was even one. Yeah, so hello there in the chat to Cookie. I hope you're well. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. That's all good. So this is the thing, right? There was recently a pilots union thing in the UK who actually came forward and said, with the pilot near-miss reports, there's actually over 350 near-miss reports which say possible drone or whatever, and they said there's no proof whatsoever that any of these were drones. Right, that's the pilots' union themselves. Right, so for people to actually say, "Oh, there was a drone spotted," but no one knows if there was one or how many. They say they don't know how many drones. So surely that implies they don't know if there was one, right? If it doesn't say anywhere that there was a confirmed sighting. That's it. Look, the drone sighting, blah blah blah. But who sighted it? One person could have said, "I've seen a drone," and that had shut the airport down. That seems to be the way that it's going, without any other information, proof, evidence, anything like that. It don't make any sense, does it? It makes no sense whatsoever.
No.
And everyone's just far too quick to jump on the drone bandwagon, because then that becomes headline news. Oh, drones at airports again. The general consensus, general public will go, "Oh, they needed banning years ago." You know what I mean? Up in arms. Oh, rage, drones again. First Gatwick, now this. Oh, there was Heathrow as well. Oh my goodness. Airports. That's people's perception, though, isn't it? And the way the news slants it is sensationalist. I will agree with DJI, and essentially they do constantly push the negative stories with little to no evidence, not a shred, but they'll still push it. So that's all good. Right, that's that one wrapped up. Mark, do you have another article for us, mate?
Yeah, sure. In fact, this one here, I almost feel like you're setting me up for this one because you let me take this one.
Yeah. Very, very not so secretly. He's admitted it to me on at least 56 different occasions.
I did find this article, and I was happy to pass this off to you. And you're like, no, you take this one. So it looks like I'm bashing the British police here. But apparently...
don't worry. Don't worry about that. They deserve it. Impartial news here.
Oh, gee. Apparently, police crashed new 20,000-pound spy in the sky super drone into a tree just 2 days after they unveiled the device. 20,000 pounds.
Yeah, that is bad.
That's bad. Let's see here. It said it was hailed as a formidable new crime-fighting weapon. Wait, let me post that in a link in case somebody wants to see it. There we go. If they want to read it on their own, I believe I just put it in there properly. Okay, it was hailed a formidable new crime-fighting weapon, a super drone specially designed to track criminals in all weather conditions. But just 2 days after the $20,000 spy in the sky was unveiled, a hapless sergeant lost control during a test flight and crashed it into a tree. Reading on, the officer was proudly demonstrating the 50-mile-per-hour drone. By the way, I will say that proudly demonstrating translates to showing off.
Yes. Swooping it in low, I bet. Just like I bloody did.
50-mile-per-hour drone to visitors at an open day at Gwent Police headquarters. The embarrassed sergeant had to call the fire brigade to recover it from the tree. Now, you picked up on this, Steve, because you the subtleties, and I don't know if you can see this. I'd let you read it in your accent. It comes out much better than in American.
Let me just find that link, because I am looking at it in OBS. I might be able to read it. Just
it's better than me with my American accent. So
let me open this link then, and we'll have a look. And yeah, that's it. Let me find that quote you want me to read out.
I have it on it's showing up on OBS now, but you do much better. You do this justice than I do.
A fellow officer tweeted, spent 20,000 on a new drone that can fly in the Welsh weather. Then the good sergeant flies it into a tree. Oh man, yeah, that's all good. We have temporarily, for a split second, I believe, just lost Mark. I believe the stream is still running. Let me just take a look at this. Allow that. Yeah. 1 second. Mark's back. Mark, you all right, mate? We lost you for a second there. Mark?
Yep, got you now.
Yeah.
It might have been me. My headset went dead for a second. So I missed the reading, but I heard you do it before. But yeah.
Yeah. I actually put on an overly British accent, but I'm happy to do it again. I think I can probably improve upon it.
Actually, I think I'm having internet service issues because it just said my chat disconnected and then connected back again. Maybe I had a hiccup with my internet
Yeah,
because
I did just completely lose you for a second there, mate, but it's
yeah,
all right.
yeah. So it's back now.
Yeah. Yeah. Here we go.
But
I'll
I
read it again. And I'll go even more overly British on this time. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yep. Paul, thank you, mate. The stream's still running.
good.
Obviously, when there's one little thing that goes wrong, you think, I don't know if my stream's still on. You know what I mean? And one of the
Yeah,
worst things that can happen midstream is lose the stream and then have to redo it. People think, oh, they might have just ended the stream, or someone's not paid their internet bill, or something like that. You know, midstream, boom, off you go. You know what I mean? Flap and panic ensues. But that's all good. Yeah, Paul says, sorry, can't add much to the conversation. Still never used a drone, but look fun and seem to take great pictures, quality videos. Yep. Yeah, thank you, mate. Thank you for keeping the chat going.
yeah.
I will just read this comment out. I'm going to go as far overly British with this as I can. A fellow officer tweeted, spent £20,000 on a new drone that can fly in the Welsh weather. Then the good sergeant flies it into a tree. Yeah,
Oh,
man.
Lord.
I know you like it when I do that overly British
funny.
accent.
Yeah. Now, I have a follow up to this because we have some situations here in the States. So we have our own issues with public officials flying drones, or should I say, not being able to fly drones. But I want to comment on anybody in the chat who doesn't know much about drones. It isn't about knowing how to fly drones or having to buy them to be part of this. I'm just going to ask, this is my own personal opinion. Glad you're here and listening. We just hope that you keep an open mind and just hopefully just spread the word that we're not all out there trying to spy on people. So if you learn something about drones and you can pass the word along and tell people that we're not all bad people, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
A little bit unhinged, but we're not out to ruin your life. You know what I mean? We're really
Exactly.
not. Yeah.
Now,
Like I say, 1% of drone flyers are, just bad actors. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They really are.
Absolutely.
But 99%, nobody with a drone is going out there to annoy anybody or spy on people or disrupt airports or do anything. They just want to fly drones. It's a cool little hobby. Get good footage, whatever, make YouTube videos, and it's a great community, the drone community. So everyone chats and talks about where they've been, what equipment they're using, everything like that. And the public perception is literally about, on a scale of 1 to 10, right? 1 being, scourge of humanity, to 10 being like absolute God's gift to mankind. Yeah. Drones are about a 2.5, right?
Yeah.
They really are,
Yeah. But I do have a follow-up to this because we in the States also have our issues with, like I said, public officials and service people using drones and not being able to use them. Just in Utica, just a town about an hour east of me, a fire department has bought a bunch of 2 or 3 of all drones, the Inspires, I think Inspire 2s, and they've crashed all 3 of them. Okay, now, again, for somebody who doesn't know much about drones, Steve, they're not hard to fly if they have GPS. Am I going out? Am I over the top of stating that?
Yeah. The GPS drones are very easy to fly as long as you're not trying to show off.
Yeah.
I know this.
And although the Inspire 2 drones are not 20,000 pounds, they're probably $4,000. They're still nothing cheap and nothing you want to mess with. And unfortunately, these people who are in these service positions, I think they go into it that they're going to have no problem. Although they are fairly easy to fly, you still need to take a bit of precaution and fly them with some care.
Yes.
But the funniest story about these, and you would think they would reach out because I'm part of something called CNY Drones, and they try to support us whenever they can. You would think maybe if they contacted us, we might be able to help them with their issues. But they've crashed 3 of these things and have totaled 3 of these things since. The funniest story, and I will say funny, is they had some sort of warehouse fire. And when a building gets goes through that kind of damage, it becomes unstable. So they decided to fly one of their drones into the building to survey it. Well, in the process, they must have hit something or a piece of debris fell on it, and they lost contact with the drone. And so, no pun intended, they tucked their tail between the legs. They went to the police and they said, "Would you mind sending your rescue dog in to try to find our drone?" and they're like,
Plumbing.
no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tough nipples. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yes, Brand
Trying to
Ariel.
avoid anything near a swear word. Now, don't get me wrong. The previous format of most of my streams, swearing is not okay. It's not allowed. I do swear a lot outside of streams, and for anybody who knows me, but on stream I try not to swear. But there may slip out on this stream, and I will not be apologetic about it. So be aware that there may be the odd swear word in there. I'll try not to, but it happens, as you may know. I did swear once on Centroid stream, and it was a baddie. It was the F bomb. I did
It was late.
apologise. I was very drunk, and I was riding the wave. You know what I mean?
And I did laugh my arse off.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
But before we stop this one, I do have to say that the article does end on a good note. It says, Gwen Police said, the drone has since been fully repaired and will be ready to be redeployed imminently. So it's back up in the air.
Put a couple of new props on it and off it goes again.
But I got to say, the picture they show there, I hope that's not the drone they bought for 20,000 pounds.
No.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
It looks like a knockoff of a Phantom.
Yeah.
Because if that's the one they bought for 20,000 pounds, over 20,000 pounds, they got rooked.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Oh, this is top of the range. 3-minute flight time and a 720p camera with no gimbal. £20,000 just for you. Saw him coming, right? Yeah. One second. I'm just going to catch up on the chat. Paul Michael DB says, don't listen to the news. So all good here. The news. This is less news, more of our commentary on it, to be fair. Brant Ariel says, in Canada, we have to go through a flight review to show that we can fly before we can be certified as advanced pilots. And now there is going to be legislation coming in November in the UK, which is going to do something quite similar, an online registration and safety test, and apparently a proposed £16.50 a year registration fee. Where they get these numbers from, I don't know, because it's not going to improve how they're policed. It's not going to improve anything. If people still want to go out and fly a drone illegally, irresponsibly, they're not going to bloody register. They're going to still keep flying the way they want to fly. And what's going to happen is, as soon as there's some random drone flyer reported, some nugget flying his drone near your house or within a few mile radius, they'll be at your door knocking to see what you've been up to. So essentially, you just open yourself up to just a world of just inconvenience, basically, by registering. I don't know what percentage of the population is going to register. Obviously, I think my hand will have to be forced or will be forced to actually register. But once again, it's putting that entire slant on the drone hobby that it is super, it's super dangerous, and it is being used for nefarious purposes all the time. It's really not. Not one single casualty worldwide from the use of drones. Not the sort of drones we fly anyway. Military drones, all that lot, yeah, of course, they've been controversial since the first, came to prevalence and all that lot. But the drone hobby, as in the drone hobbyists, no fatalities worldwide. I dare say not even many major injuries. The odd cut finger, maybe a bump on the head here and there. Most drones are not big or whatnot, right? And there's far less or no legislation on things which are far more dangerous. Hundreds of people every year die on bloody golf courses. The golfing banned. You don't have to get a golfing license, do you? You know what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. It's not a safety issue. It's really not. What it is a control issue. They want to have control because these drones can go airborne, live on the internet, to all kinds of public events, ones that they might not necessarily want people to see. And a good example of this was there was a YouTube channel I think they're called Team Black Cat. I'm going to find that video for you and put that link in there. A couple of weeks back, there was some protests in Hong Kong about some anti-extradition laws. Team Black Sheep, yeah. Oh, yes, FPV flying. Yeah, flying an FPV drone, which he did clearly state that was below 250 grams, so below the level of legislation. This thing would probably be about this big and weigh about the same as like 2 or 3 packets of small packets of crisps, right? And this thing is flying through the streets, quite close over people's heads. There's tear gas flying from the police. They're firing rubber bullets and everything. And some of the comments are, oh, it's a bit irresponsible to be flying like that round them crowds. And you think, wait a minute. So yeah. So if that crashed into you, it'd be like someone getting a bag of crisps or 2 bags of crisps and lobbing them right in your face. I mean, it's not going to do much, It's really not. The weigh like 250 grams or less. Them little FPV drones. I'm going to find that video, unless you want to quickly find the link for me, Mark. I'm gonna hop on there now. I do believe that that is my. Oh no, that's your screen at the minute, so I can. Yeah, I'm going to put the link in there for anybody who hasn't seen it, because it is some of the best FPV flying I've ever seen, on top of being a very insightful video. Now, yes, I've got it here too. Yeah, the thing is, I can't play it on the stream, unfortunately, but I am going to post. Got it. It's done, mate. It's done. Yeah. Paul, thank you very much, mate. Your kind words, honestly, mate, they do melt my heart. It says, been awesome to listen. You're easily one of the best streamers out there, Steve. Oh, thank you, dude. Honestly, I know you enjoy me streams and whatnot, but what I mean, when people give the good feedback like that, it inspires you to keep on going in that respect. So in the chat right now is that video, and please, put it on a new tab or watch it after the stream, preferably, or come back when you're done. That literally is what governments don't want people able to do, right? And that is cover live, a 6 million person protest against new, government legislation about, people from Hong Kong can be extradited to like mainland China for like prosecution and things like that. And 6 million people take to the streets, and China's known for censorship. And this is the video that didn't want getting out. This was not even covered on the bloody news, mate. It really wasn't. So to have some independent flyer like that that's gone out and done it, and look at that, 1 million views. That's 1 million people who know about what the government's been up to over there. This is what governments don't want. It's not a safety issue. It's nothing to do with that. They just want to have control over who's flying. And if anything goes wrong, or somebody has flown and caught something like that, they want to know exactly whose door to be going knocking on. But if somebody was going to fly like that, legally, illegally, whatever, they're not going to register, are they? If they're going out to disrupt or get footage they know is not going to be legit. You know what I mean? Right, rant over. I can still hear you just fine, mate. Say hello for me. Hello. Yeah, I think what's happened is, while essentially you had like a bit of a to-do, didn't you? Let's see if I put this one on. 1 second, mate. Yeah, please say hello, mate.
Hello.
Yeah, you're back on, mate. Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem.
I've got so many audio inputs at the minute. I am having trouble keeping up with each scene as it transitions. Mm-hmm. You do the audio on one, you transition over and it's not the same. You have to keep messing about. It's OBS. It's a mess about. Yeah, right. On to more pressing news. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say that Brand says that, what did he say earlier? He says that people, police and fire should be advanced pilots. Well, Up until recently, our news stations, they did not have to have 107 commercial certification to fly, but since then FAA has levied that, and get this, they're actually upset that they have to have their drone pilots certified now.
Oh, boo hoo.
Can you believe that? Yeah,
Oh, boo
I got to
hoo.
be certified to go take a picture of somebody's house from the air and make a buck. Meanwhile, they're flying bigger drones over people, and they don't have to be certified.
Yeah,
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 well, at least they had that going for them. So I'm glad they did that. Okay,
yes, yes,
okay.
okay.
So
Right, so rant over. UK new legislation isn't going to do jack anything. Trust me, it won't. If people want to fly illegally, they're going to fly illegally. Like,
mhm.
a registration ain't going to do anything. It's not. That don't prevent anybody doing anything, does it? You
No,
know, you,
I
you,
don't know.
you get a driving license. Does it stop you from speeding? No, doesn't,
Yeah,
does it? People still drive without licenses, don't they? Untaxed,
mm,
no insurance, blah blah blah. You know,
exactly.
that's it. And cars kill hundreds of people a day, right?
Right.
But obviously they're far too useful, aren't they, to ban?
They,
You know,
yeah, and
you just can't ban them. You know what I mean?
I love the argument that we're gonna make them illegal because that'll stop it. That works for drugs all the time, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
No, we're gonna
yeah.
make drugs illegal. That'll stop it. Yeah, that works. Works all the
Yeah, yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. Well, any type of prohibition or restriction on anything always creates some kind of black market or some sort of, you know, illegal activity around it. You know what I mean? You're making something that was previously legal now all of a sudden like criminal if you don't jump through all the hoops to do it.
Hmm.
Why? When there's no real issue at the minute. Or anyone who says Gatwick, honestly, look it up. There wasn't a drone, right? Simple as that. So there's no issues in the UK. Only the news is the issue,
Hmm.
right? Just sensationalising all the stories.
Hmm.
Okay, right. That is my rant. Right. I am done ranting. Right. For now. For now. Right. We're still going to be going. I think we've probably got another 15 to 30 minutes if you're happy to go that little bit extra, Mark.
Yeah, I can go a little bit more. I got
We're
couple more stories.
oh, yes, yes. We did want to keep these streams to about an hour, but we said, didn't we? If we're having fun, we've still got stories, we're just going to keep on going. And
I,
for anybody
uh,
in the chat, you know what I mean? I hope you're having a good time. You know what I mean?
okay,
This is all good.
okay, Paul put a question to you, Steve. I
Yeah.
figured that this be the time to let anybody know, especially like Brant's got to run. Also, he wants to know how often we're going to be streaming
Yeah, okay.
going forward.
Um, yeah, this news stream will be once a week. Next week, it's going to be on Mark's channel on Wednesday night. Are you going to do 10 or 11, mate? My time.
Um, what do you think? I mean, I could do either one. We were going to do 10, which would be 5 Eastern here in the States, 10 UK time.
Yeah.
Is 11 too late? It doesn't matter to me.
I quite like 11. To be fair,
Okay.
it's got
That
a good thing to it. That extra hour is essential sometimes. Just
absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
So 11 UK time, 6 Eastern time here in the States. It's fine with me.
yeah, and that is next Wednesday on Mark's channel. Links in the description to his channel. Week after, it'll be back on my channel. Week after on his channel. Blah blah blah. That's how it will proceed, alternating. All good. So once a week, and I'm going to look into possibly doing another little stream. Possibly, I'm not sure what to do yet, but I'm trying to come up with another light-hearted kind of stream, like midweek or on a Sunday or something like that. But I've not fully finalised that.
Right.
In the past, I did feel a bit burnt out from YouTube. I was like streaming 3 times a week. I was always in other people's streams. I was making videos. I was traveling. My life became about YouTube like every
Right.
hour of every day. I'm not kidding. I'd wake up straight away, YouTube, notifications, comments, right, into live streams, 16 plus hours a day, every day. And in the end, I burnt myself out.
Right.
And
Right.
it starts to get to a point where you don't love it anymore. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you start to resent it, don't you? So
Yes.
I'm dialing it back in a little bit to once, maybe twice a week streaming. That is it. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
do you know when you're going to be streaming your second one again? What your thoughts were?
I'm not entirely sure, mate, at the
Okay,
minute.
well,
That's something I'm still working on.
well, you and I need to talk about that because I'll be doing one also, which will be drone related, but more on the FPV style than the photo drone. So I just want to make sure that I don't step on your toes, buddy. Not that I
Yeah,
would.
that's all right. It won't bother me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We are the alliance, but I'm happy to go head to head if that's what it takes, man.
No, no, I don't want to go
No,
head to
no,
head. No,
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 no, no,
no, no.
no.
No, that's all good. Paul Michael says, bring back the conspiracy ones. That is not something I'm doing anymore. But if enough people request it, I will do a one-off special where I'll give a good send off to the tinfoil hat, and cover some of my favourite ones from throughout the show. I think that's a fair deal, don't you think, Mark?
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
make. I think I could pull one more hat out. One more
Yes.
creation.
Yes. Brant Ariels, thank you for dropping in. Thank you. Like I say, I can't thank you enough to everybody who's in. We've still got a couple more stories. Some of mine are a little bit more light-hearted. They're not so much news, but more little Facebook stories. I'm in the Facebook drone groups. They're quite toxic, but if you tread water, you get some good nuggets of information out of there. The drone
Mhm.
police do patrol. If you want to post anything on there, be prepared for a backlash. You could literally be flying your drone, literally like 50 meters away from you, right, behind bulletproof glass, right, inside a bunker, right, with nobody for miles around. You've set up a perimeter of people for like 3 miles around, so no one's there. And you take a picture, and somebody will have a problem with that, right? You know what I mean? I'm not kidding. That is how they are, them drone groups. But
Right.
like I say, it's good to snoop and get some little articles and stories from that. Yeah. Paul Michael says, have I still got the hats? Yes, I have still got the hive mind. But we're going slightly off topic, you know what I mean? Building up the hype for the next stream, But that's that's something I'll work out, and I'll post an update, a comment on my channel for when that's ready. So, Mark, you've got another story ready for us, have you?
Yes, this is actually kind of a positive story in support of recreational and commercial drone pilots, which I figured would be a nice way for me to kind of end things on my end. I mean, I got a couple of little tidbits I can share, but this one's a good one, I think. So let me post the link first. There we go, and share screen. And for anybody who, again, you probably have something similar in the UK. If you wanted to fly near an airport, which again, if you're going to do something like that, you need to be very, very cautious to begin with. But there used to be absolutely no flying there unless you submitted paperwork and made phone calls and got prior authorization to do so. And it was a long, drawn-out thing. But now the FAA has teamed up with some people where they have this LANC system, which is basically it's for low altitude authorization and capability. Basically now with an application, and yes, DJI is actually involved in this too. Go figure. That you could easily on your device essentially dial into the application, let them know where you're flying, what your purpose is, and this information is now going to be transmitted to the airports that you're nearby, so they know what's going on in that area, and there is no need to be able to have to call anybody or to basically wait. It's real time access to some of the areas we could never fly unless we got prior authorization, which sometimes you would never get because they were so backed up with paperwork, which is the reason why they put it. Let's be honest, got so many drone flyers now that they couldn't keep up with the paperwork. Now they actually put technology to use, and you can get real-time authorization, and they're updated constantly with if there's any drones or anything like that. So basically, it's a nice thing that they've done, at least to open the corridor for people to fly drones in areas that they recently could, because we have a lot of people who live near an airport where they couldn't even fly their toy drone out their backyard if they wanted to. You know, I'm not saying that's what they'd use this for, but basically that's what it is. The LANC system, which is short for Low Altitude Authorization Capability, is a collaboration between the FAA and FAA approved UAS service suppliers, which I believe DJI is one of them. It automates the application approval process for airspace authorizations. Registered drone pilots, which basically, if you're just over half a pound, you have to be registered. Not that everybody does. Registered drone pilots who want to fly near any of the 600 airports that participate can submit a request using an approved supplier such as Kitty Hawk or AirMap. AirMap is an application I use to check where I can fly, and it's actually a nice system. So, hurrah that they're actually trying to support drone flyers for a change.
Yeah, man. It sounds like that'll just streamline the entire process.
Well, let's face it. I think,
I think they need to. Yeah.
I think they got
Yeah.
the point because the running joke was, that, we knew that it would be a paper nightmare if you had to, email and submit applications. They don't have the workforce to keep up with it. So I think they figured, well, we might, if you can't beat them, join them kind of attitude, which rightfully so. And everybody who's doing this is registered, and they're the ones you wanna support. Keep
Yeah,
them
man.
happy.
Yes,
So.
indeed. Yes,
So
indeed,
do
mate.
you have anything like this? Like if you were a commercial or even a hobbyist, do you have a system where you can gain access to areas that normally you wouldn't unless you had to have approval? Do you have a similar
All
situation?
all you have to do is ring up the CAA.
Hmm.
They do have a number for drone pilots. You ring them up and basically just say, I need flight authorization for this area or whatever.
Hmm.
If you're a hobbyist, chances are you're not going to get it. But if it is for paid work and you're a PFCO holder, apparently it can get cleared within 10 minutes.
Right. Well,
Yeah, so
you're already, as always, across the pond's always ahead of the game. Here in the U.S., we like to think we are, but we're not.
yeah.
Maybe we're catching up to you now, but.
Yeah, but if you're a drone hobbyist and you've found airspace which is completely okay to fly, you use the Nats Drone Assist on your smartphone. There's an app there, and you can set a scheduled flight and like a perimeter where you're going to be flying as well. So anybody else using the app will see any other temporary notifications of anybody else who's going to be flying in that area. So that's useful as well. But not everybody does that, so it's not reliable. Obviously, there's
Right.
no obligation to do that whatsoever. But I do know people who do that, and it is a good thing to do. But the only thing is, especially in the local area where I live, it's not a exactly well-off area, and you're just opening yourself up to being robbed, basically, because there will be criminals who've caught on who will look at these things and think, oh look, there's going to be somebody flying there at this time. Let's go and check it out, see if they've got any muscle with them, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to see, because you're opening yourself up to a world of abuse, aren't you? Really, if
Right.
if you're doing it like that, but. Yeah, that's all good. I've opened up the app and I thought, oh, there's someone flying over there or around there. Do you know what I mean? But it's not there for you to go meet up with people or
Right,
whatever.
right.
It's a
Well.
notification for anybody planning to fly anywhere. And then it's like there's temporary notifications for things like flybys, temporary restrictions, other people drone flying, things like that. You know what I mean? So it's a good up to the second app. Yeah, so it is good.
Well, our apps will give us the no-fly zones, like if there's a situation where they have maneuvers, military maneuvers, or something like that, or the president's flying overhead or something. That's always the case. I don't know if this app and this situation will let me know if there's a fellow drone pilot flying near me. It's really more for the airports than it is for the drone pilot as far as knowing what the traffic is. But I'm gonna have to read up on that, man. That might be the situation because I never thought of that.
Yeah.
If you knew where a bunch of drone flyers were, whether or not you'd be able to see that on the app or not. So I'll definitely look into that.
Yeah, man. Okay. So I have no major stories left, but there is a few interesting, comical, funny videos that I want to show you on Facebook. I don't think there's any real way I can do this. I mean, I can try and screen share with you I don't know what that's going to do to bandwidth. I'd rather not take the risk, if I'm honest. I'll just keep the videos rolling if that's all right, Mark, for you to keep up with them. If that's all right, I don't. You know what I mean? I've upgraded my internet speeds and all that jazz, but I don't want to risk lagging the stream or doing anything like that. So, right. Let me transition over then. These are just a few posts I've cherry-picked from the Facebook drone groups that are relatively like what the heck or comical. I think I did just transition over. Please just check your audio. Just say hello for me, please, Mark.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah. Just making sure the audio's working. Hello, Craig. I hope you're well, mate. I've only said hello in the chat so far. I hope you're well, mate. We've got about 5 or 10 more minutes. I'm just going to run over some of these posts and whatnot. You know what I mean? Just because it's a giggle. You know what I mean? It's all good. Yeah. Yeah. Centroid, your audio on, mate. Just checking. Yeah.
Hello.
Just checking. I want to make sure it all works good. You know what I mean?
Appreciate that.
Cool. Well, you know, we know Piracy Studio's gone live because our viewers have bombed. but that's all right. If you want to go over to Piracy Studios, be my guest. They are lovely. And at the end of the stream, I'll put a link there for anybody still here because I will pop over there and say hello after this stream. You know what I mean? This is bonus round now. Just a few bonus clips for you. Okay, so which one would I like to pick? That's cool. There's a clip here of somebody trying to take off with a Mavic Pro, and seagulls are literally swooping down on it. you know, and I've had an encounter with my Mavic Pro where a seagull actually flew up and whacked it with its foot, and it stayed in the air. So yeah, good-o. I do like that. That's cool. I'm just skipping through a few of these clips because I know we've gone a little bit over time. I'm not too fussed myself. Just want to keep things snappy. You know what I mean? I'm trying to go back one page. There we go. Look, we're going into my Facebook now. You know what I mean? It's all good. Try not to put any. You know, some people I know put all sorts of shady posts on there, so I'm trying not to play that or whatever. Right. This here is a Royal Air Force Chinook helicopter. On Lake Windermere, right? And this is why you don't fly on Lake Windermere. I know there is a little bit of stream lag for you, Mark, but I will play that video again.
I'm watching it. I see it.
Yeah, and they are low, aren't they?
Well, you know, we did have a chucklehead down here in New York City who wanted to. They had one of our Apache attack helicopters flying, and he decided he wanted to get aerial footage of it, and he wound up hitting the windscreen of this Apache. Oh yeah,
man.
They found him.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, they found him.
Yeah. Here's another interesting clip. Just this one and one more. Right, they're only short clips. This here is basically, I'm not sure where this video was taken. I believe it was India or Pakistan maybe. Some guy, his neighbours were having like a big party, and he mounted a firework launcher to his drone, and this is what he was doing to his neighbour's party.
Okay, this is stupid.
Yeah.
This is why we get so mad as responsible.
Yes, because this video actually has millions of views. So,
that's a Roman. He's shooting a Roman candle. That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That is insane, isn't it?
Yeah. It's funny and not funny at the same time because you saw those poor people ducking and running for cover.
Oh, I shouldn't laugh.
Look at, oh my God. No, we shouldn't laugh,
no,
and hopefully
laugh. I shouldn't laugh, but if that happened in the UK or the US, that would be headline news.
Yes, it would, and that's what would cause us to lose more of our rights right there.
Yeah. And then one last clip right here. This company is selling drone-mounted flamethrowers to the general public.
Yeah.
This here, I don't know whether I can play the clip. I'm just going to copy this and paste it into the chat so you can have a quick look for yourselves.
Of course they're saying. Of course they're saying they're using it to clear dead brush and melt
Yeah,
ice and stuff like that. That's not what people want to use this for. Unfortunately, you're just. Oh man.
yeah, yeah. That's the link in the chat if you want to see the video. It is pretty insane. But these things are generally used for, do you know, on power lines?
Hmm.
And then when there's like bits of plastic and lagging and
Yeah.
stuff, and they
Yeah.
go
They
along with
use.
one of these and they cut it off with the flames.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it saves guys actually going up there risking their lives doing it. Which, once again, it's another positive use which has now been turned around into something which is wholly negative,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean?
This is almost as bad as the guy who took kind of the same, I guess the same type drone. And I'm not recommending this, and I'm not going to put the link in the chat because I don't recommend people doing this. Have you seen the guy who actually put a chainsaw on the bottom of one of these things?
Yes.
That is insane, and that is just dumb.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and he was
But
using it to cut the icicles off his house, wasn't he?
well, that's what he was doing, but he was also using it to cut the heads off of snowmen
Yeah, he
and
actually
pop
comes in at
balloons.
speed, doesn't he, and smashes the
Yes, he
snowman's
does.
head. Oh man, yeah. It's another one of them things. I can't play the video, but just look
Yep.
that up. Chainsaw on a drone, something like
And
that, and it'll come up.
I'm sure he was American.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't know if there was, to be fair, but
Oh, I think
yeah,
it was. I
yeah,
think
yeah.
they
He
were.
was also chopping trees and everything when he was there.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
quite
but
quite well controlled, to be fair.
he did duff it at the end there. I think he crashed it towards the end. Pilot error or whatever the case
Yes,
is.
it just boom into the snow, doesn't
I,
it?
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure
man.
it didn't react well to that. So
Yeah. So right, I'm gonna switch back to just me and Mark. Right, that is the weekly news roundup. Right,
yep,
all good.
exactly.
Really
Nice.
enjoyed the stream tonight. Thank you everybody for who's joined us and whatnot. Thank you to Mark, the host. Like I say, next week same time, 11 p.m. UK time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Next week on his channel is where TADA #2 is going to take place. So please, link in the description to his channel. Subscribe to him at notifications, and I'm sure you'll schedule that stream in, won't you, Mark? A few hours ahead of time.
I will schedule into the stream, and hopefully I'll even do a promo for us as well this week and promote it on my channel, and it'll be a video that'll be posted. So hopefully people will get more and more used to it.
Yes,
So,
I'm gonna promote it as well wholeheartedly, as
mhm.
well, and put the word out there because I've really enjoyed this stream tonight. It's been really bloody good.
I like it. I like the format. I think it flows fairly well. I mean, I need to brush up on delivery and whatnot, but that's what this is about, is getting back into the swing of things. Because, like I said, I too have been, not like you. I've been live streaming maybe twice a month, if that, and hopefully I want to get back into it. But I want to do more like this. I want to
Yeah.
really,
With
really
purpose. Every
yes,
second
with
counts.
purpose.
That's what we spoke about. We want this to
Yes.
be as entertaining as possible. So on my channel, or if you know me on Facebook, I do have a Facebook page. Just search AVA UK, AVAH, and it also Aerial Views and Histories UK. Same thing. I do have a page. Feel free to message me on there. Like the page, join the page, message me. If you've got your own interesting drone stories or videos, interesting funny clips, not full-blown flight videos and everything. That's what YouTube's for. I can't play any of them. But your own funny videos or links to interesting drone news stories. I want my finger on the pulse. You know
Right.
what I mean?
And again, I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds, but I think we've discussed possibly having a guest occasionally and featuring somebody's channel.
Yes.
If it fits the theme, so to speak. So hopefully we'll be introducing more of that as we go.
Yep. As we go along, we will keep building upon this format, and finding what works, what don't quite work. But so far, I think it's been a great run tonight. Did you want to have a quick word about the channel you'd like to just have a quick word about and post a link?
You mean the one that I thought was a good one to visit?
Oh, yes.
Oh no, we'll wait till next week for that. We'll
Yeah.
wait for next week. We'll just
Okey-dokey.
we'll just build on it and stuff because I think we're at a good point now. So
Yes. Okie dokie. So, on that note, we are going to leave you in peace. Right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Like I say, next week, I've already gone through all that. Like, it's on Centroid's channel. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. I hope you have a great night, great day, wherever you are in the world. And we'll catch you next Wednesday. All the best, everybody. Wave to the camera, Mark.
Have a good night, everybody.
Say bye to everybody. Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. Have a nice night.
Thanks a lot.